my name is Anja, and today I would like to continue my series about the alchemy of nature. And for today, I picked the oak tree because I was asked from many friends to talk about it one more time. So, the oak tree is about strength, because the oak is a strong, resilient tree that is firmly rooted in the earth, and the branches of which spread out wide as if to welcome all other beings, right? And that's why it's also a connection to the God. So the spirit of the oak reminds us of our inner fire, which allows us to find ourselves. The oak gives us strength, supports our will to live, and brings us into contact with our inner source. So therefore, it's very important not to overcharge, to overindulge on this energy of the oak tree. I mentioned that last time, that the best thing is you give the tree the rods into the hand and say, okay, give me as much as I need, especially since this is a fire tree. Overcharging your inner fire can bring you complication like stomach ache or even a little aggression, I would say. So, and this tree teaches us to rule over ourselves and not over others, but to be there for them like lovers. So our hearts should sing wherever we are. That's how it actually should be. And everything is already in us, just like every acorn carries a huge oak tree inside, right? It is just waiting to be brought to light. So, and also the oak tree stands for fertility and luck. Oak trees, they like to grow on intersections of water veins and are considered trees with great healing properties. Alone walking around an oak tree can help you recovering from an illness, and I'm not even kidding. The Celts, for example, associated with the oak tree strength and brought this strength to themselves. That's how old this all is. So, because there's a fire in everyone, in all of us, that allows us to find ourselves or deal with certain situation. And the spirit of the oak tree gives us a gift by supporting us in our will to live and staying in our power and bringing us into contact with our inner source. We can learn from the spirit of the oak tree to act independently and to take good care of us, because we neglect that most of the time. And in this energy, once we're in this energy, then we are able to support each others and be exactly that for them, exactly that strength and that fire. What the oak tree passed to us, that's what we are for them. We can give from our heart with love, without expectations. When we give ourselves away, we do it unconditionally, only out of love, in which there are sparks of light for others that burn into the heart of others. You know what I mean? You give, you pass on that spark, and then the heart begins to sing and carries the melody, into these places of life. So again, everything we need is already within us. It awaits us. Things want to be recognized, developed, and brought to light. So each acorn houses a huge oak tree. Remember that. And compare it with yourself, because there is a tremendous potential in each of us that is waiting there to develop. The oak tree asks you to make the best of yourself and your life, and to give yourself away to others in unconditional love. That's one of the main messages. And the essence of the oak tree offers itself to people who consciously and responsibly do their duties, but often overestimate their strength and overwhelm themselves. And the essence enables and helps us to divide our strength well and to take breaks without feeling guilty, because this is another issue of our society. The people that always give and can't say no, at one point, they just crawl. They're tired because they don't take care of themselves. So, and of course, you can smudge the oak. Oh yeah, before I forget, to the guilt. I used to have that too. If I had the feeling I had to be available 24/7 for everyone, and if not, I felt guilty. But you really have to manage your own strength. You cannot be there 24/7 for someone or anyone. And so even as a parent, you need to take a break somehow, and or get help. So yeah, just to put that in there one more time, so you don't have to feel guilty saying no once a while, So where was I? Smudging. So smudging oak tree is a good thing first thing in the morning, or when wherever you start your day, is when you get stuck into certain matters. So because that smoke of the oak tree helps us to take up realistic thoughts again, of what you can accomplish and what not. So, and this clears our mind, and we see the matter, the subject, whatever it is, from a different perspective, and we can solve it better. And smudging with oak has many properties also, such as protection and healing. And already the Celts, they used oak bark as an addition in their incense, especially Druids. So the oak has always been a protective tree, which its plant spirit also wants to convey to us in the smoke. A very sacred tree. Yeah, and it's very well suited against negative influence from the outside. And the old Druids, they met in places where there was an oak tree. So because it was kind of used like a school, that was their class, the school. So because the spirit of the oak tree is so powerful that it reveals our magical powers to us in a smudging ceremony. Because the oak has a strong relationship with people's emotional life, right? So, and from the oak itself, we can use the dried bark, the acorns, and also dried leaves for smudging. I recommend to always smudge oak together with other resins or herbs, because it has a very intense fragrance like wood does. So if you get a chance, if you have a grinder, grind it to powder, because bigger chunks, it's wood, right? And if you put it on a charcoal, it can smell very intense. So, and you can use oak bark together with resins, with tree resins for room cleansing, to clear up the atmosphere in a room. Because with all that fire, very positive energy flows in the rooms. So, also, what can we eat from it? Yeah, well, the leaves, do not eat the leaves because they're poisonous, especially older leaves. You might get away with the young leaves, but not the old leaves. Not the leaves, preferably, because they poisonous. So, and of course, we all know acorns, right? So, in acorns, they contain tannins and they're extremely bitter. So if you ever peeled an acorn and chewed on it, you know exactly what I mean by bitter. So and just the thought of eating raw acorns makes me sick. So and these tannins are in there for a reason. They're in actually for our protection, so we don't eat them. So, and actually acorns are intended for wild animals, for boars for example, and they must gain weight for the coming winter in autumn, right? So, and that's what they're originally for. So, and of course, if you eat pure acorns, you know, you get abdominal pain, diarrhea, and the whole spiel for poisonous symptoms. So there you have another yes, they're poisonous, but I mean, I haven't seen anyone who managed to eat more than one, because like I said, they're so disgusting. So it can't even happen as an accident, because you just won't be able to eat it. Because you just wouldn't, so you wouldn't even be able to poison yourself. So, but again, they not only contain tannins, they also contain starch, protein, and fat. Like I said, boars like to eat them, pigs. And humans also need protein and fat, right? Especially when there's nothing else that you can eat for nutrition. So like I said, plants or trees or herbs taste a certain way, so you don't poison yourself. So even here, Mother Nature is thinking for us. So, but yet, you can eat them or use the pulp or the flour from it. So what you will do to draw out the poison is you soak them in water for 2 days. That will remove the tannins. Also, after the best is to cook the acorns, roast them, you know. And it doesn't matter if you cook or roast them or peel them before, or if you do it after you put them in the water. That really doesn't matter. And you might want to change the water in between. So at least for 2 days, I would say. So, and then the tannins are removed, and the acorns are non-toxic. And then you can grind it, use it as coffee, you know, just brew it with hot water, ready. Add milk, sugar, cinnamon, whatever. And that nice coffee helps you with high blood pressure and digestion. Or you can use it as flour replacement, and you can bake with it. So, and also remember, it was done when food was rare in certain times, so, but it's always good to know, right? And the bark and branches and twigs, you can use as medical part of the oak. And the bark contains a lot of tannins, and therefore, like I mentioned before, it's not only the acorns, it's a whole tree, and therefore it's a very important tannin plant. So, and oak bark you can use as a tea or a tincture, and it's mostly used external against eczema or poor healing wounds. And if you drink it, it's used as a remedy for diarrhea, intestinal inflammation. And so in here also, the oak is very antibacterial. It's like an antibiotic. It works anti-inflammatory, right? You can gargle for sore throat or mouth sores. I mentioned diarrhea, gastritic, stomach ulcers, inflammation of the intestinal mucosa, hemorrhoids, poor healing wounds I mentioned, I believe already, and even for mild cases of diabetes. So yeah, and if you want to use oak for runes, be aware about the connection to the other realm and the strength and fire of this tree. So you should be familiar with runes before you make your own rune set out of oak wood. But that's just my recommendation, right? Keep that in mind. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I will not be back for a couple of weeks, and then I will be back with something else. I don't know, maybe another tree, maybe another real series with runes. I will see what comes to my mind, spontaneous. You know how I am, I go left and right. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. You can work with it, and yeah, stay strong, have no fear, very important. Yeah, and I see and hear you all soon. And you have a good night, a good day, or good morning wherever you are. Bye bye.
Isa ist nicht am Platz,